Last month, the world said goodbye to the man considered one of the greatest South American writers of all time. Gabriel Garcia Marquez was an author and Nobel Prize winner, mostly known for his novel 100 Years of Solitude. What some people may not realize is that Garcia Marquez was also a journalist. He owned a magazine that made a lot of headlines in the region called Cambio. And joining me here in the studio to discuss Garcia Marquez's legacy is Juan Carlos Iragori. He is a Washington correspondent for Semana magazine and worked very closely with Garcia Marquez at Cambio. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
You know, we've been hearing all these tributes over the last few weeks, again, alluding to his career as an author and novelist. But again, not a lot of people knew that he was a journalist. So what kind of stories did he like to cover?
Well, he loved to do chronicles and reportage. For example, he wrote a great profile about Hugo Chavez, the former president of Venezuela. But he loved this, he always was saying that journalists should tell the tale, like when you're telling the tale to a child. Lots of details and lots of information and the characters. So he loved the details in the chronicles. That was the kind of stories he wanted to publish in Cambio. It was a great magazine.
What was it like having him as a colleague, to work with him, and what sort of vision did he have for the magazine?
You know, he was a great colleague. He was a great boss and a great colleague. For example, I was the Cambio's correspondent in Spain, based in Madrid. And he told me once, you can use my name to request interviews. So I had interviews with the president of the government in Spain because Gabriel Garcia Maquez told me to do that. And he also gave you great advice. For example, he said once, listen, you should have all the time a shotgun to fight against platitude and cliches. That was one of his best advice he gave me.
Is there a funny story that you can recall from your time with working with him?
Well, the first time I met him was in a bookstore in Madrid, close to the Columbus Square, to the Plaza de Colón. He told me to be there at noon, so I met him there. This was 1998, and in 5 minutes, the bookstore was full of people. Everybody bought all the Gabriel Garcia Marquez books. He was signing all those books. And well, we had to leave the bookstore and to go to a restaurant because it was full of people. It was amazing.
He's been called one of the greatest writers of the Spanish language of all time. What went through your mind when you heard all of these tributes?
Well, you know, when Garcia Marquez died, I suppose you saw that in the web pages, for example, in Der Spiegel, the most important magazine in Germany. It was a huge article. There was a front page in the New York Times. It was front page in the Guardian, in the London newspaper. Well, I think he was one of the greatest writers in the world, and not only in Spanish. Many people say that in Spanish, he was the #2 after Miguel de Cervantes, the writer, the author of El Quijote, of Don Quixote de la Mancha. So, and I think that's true. I mean, if you compare him to the rest of the Latin American or Spanish writers, he created a new world. I mean, he created this town he invented called Macondo, and it was really interesting. So, and I think he is going to be remembered more than people like Jorge Luis Borges, the Argentinian great author, and maybe Mario Vargas Llosa, the Peruvian, also a great author.
Juan Carlos Iragori, we appreciate your time and your insight. Thank you so much for joining us here on the show.
Thank you very much.